Hello everyone, this is Dr. Kalpana Chauhan. Today I am going to tell you about some basic concepts of protective system. Under this I am going to tell you about classification of protective relays, how I can classify it, and some protection schemes. Some frequently used equipment will also be discussed in this presentation. First of all, we can classify the protective relays based on technology. Based on technology, we can classify them as electromagnetic relays, static relays, microprocessor based relays. Electromagnetic relays contain an electromagnet or permanent magnet and a moving part. When the actuating quantity exceeds a certain predetermined value, an operating torque is developed, which is applied on the moving part. This causes the moving part to travel and to finally close a contact to energize the trip coil of the circuit breaker. On the other hand, static relays contain electronic circuitry which may include transistors, ICs, diodes and other electronic components. There is a comparator circuit in the relay which compares two or more currents or voltages and gives an output which is applied to either a slave relay or a thyristor circuit. The slave relay uh, is an electromagnetic relay which finally closes the contacts. A static relay containing a slave relay and it is a semi-static relay. Microprocessor based protective relays are the latest development in this area with the development in VLSI technology. Their applications to the problems to protective relaying schemes are of current interest to power engineers. The inherent advantages of microprocessor based relays over static relays with a very limited range of applications are attractive flexibility due to their programmable approach. The electromagnetic relays again can be classified as attracted armature type, moving coil type, induction disc type and induction cup type relay. Another classification is based on their functions. Based on the relay function, it can be classified for the overcurrent as an overcurrent relay, under voltage relay, impedance relay, under frequency relay and directional relay. Over voltage relay means we are protecting a system for the over voltages. Under voltage relay means for under voltages, impedance based relays, under frequency relays and directional relays. We can also classify the protection system based on protective schemes as overcurrent protection, which is used for the protection of distribution lines, large motors, equipment, etc. It includes one or more overcurrent relays. Next classification of protective scheme is distance protection. Distance protection is used for the protection of transmission or sub-transmission lines, usually 33 kV, 66 kV or 132 kV lines. It includes a number of distance relays of the same or different types. A distance relay measures the distance between the relay location and the point of fault in terms of impedance, reactance or admittance, etc. The relay operates if the point of fault lies within the protected section of the line, which is called as the zone of protection. There are various kinds of distance relays. Important type are including impedance, reactance or MOHO, or sometimes we call it as a admittance relay. Next type of protective scheme classification is carrier current protection. In this scheme, this scheme used for the protection of EHV, extra high voltages or ultra high voltages line, generally for 132 kV and above. A carrier signal in the range of 50 to 500 kc per second is generated for the purpose. A transmitter and receiver are installed at each end of the transmission line to protect Information regarding the direction of the fault current is transmitted from one end of the line section to the other. Depending on the information, relays are placed at each end trip of the if the fault lies within the protected section. Relays do not trip in case of external faults. The relays are of distance type and their tripping operation is controlled by the carrier signal. Next type of protective scheme is differential protection. This scheme of protection is used for the protection of generators, transformers, motors of very large size. It can sometimes be used for the bus zones protection also. Current transformers are placed on both sides of each winding of a machine. The outputs of their secondaries are applied to the relay coils. The relay compares the current entering a machine winding and leaving the same. Under normal conditions or during any external fault, the current entering the winding is equal to the current leaving the winding. But in the case of an internal fault on the winding, these are not equal. This difference in the current actuates a relay, thus the relay operates for internal faults and remains inoperative under normal condition or during the external fault. In case of bus zone protection, current transformers are placed on the both side of the bus bar. A term that we frequently use when we go to the circuit breaker or relays is the automatic reclosing. Generally, we see the faults in electrical system are the transient faults, semi-permanent fault or permanent faults. About 90% of faults on overhead lines are of transient nature. Transient faults are caused by lightning or external bodies falling on the lines. Such faults are always associated with arcs. If the line is disconnected from the system, in that case, short time, the arc is extinguished and the fault disappears. Immediately after this, the circuit breaker can be reclosed automatically to restore the supply. Most faults on EHV lines are caused by lightning. Flashover across insulators takes place due to over voltages caused by lightning and exists for a short time. Hence, only one instantaneous recloser is used in case of EHV lines. There is no need for more than one recloser for such a situation. For EHV lines, one recloser is 12 cycles is recommended. A fast recloser is desired from the stability point of view. On lines up to 33 kV, most faults are caused by external objects such as tree branches, etc., falling on the overhead line. This is due to the fact that the support height is less than that of the trees. The external objects may not be burnt clear at the first recloser and may require additional reclosers. Usually 3 reclosers at 15 to 120 seconds intervals are made to clear the fault. For the second recloser, 80 to 10% require and 2% need the third recloser, while the remaining 8% are permanent faults. If the fault is not cleared after 3 reclosers, it indicates that a fault is the permanent in nature. Automatic reclosers are not used on cables as the breakdown of insulation in cable causes a permanent fault. If we used the protection system, then there is requirement of current transformers. Now, first of all, we have to discuss the requirement of CTs for the protection. The requirement of CTs used for protective relays are something different from those of instrument current transformers. A current transformer used for instrumentation is required to be accurate over normal working range of currents, whereas a current transformer used for protection is required to give a correct ratio up to several times the rated primary current. It is due to the fact that the relay has to perform reliably at normal currents as well as at fault currents. Usually, fault currents are many times the normal rated currents. For many applications, its accuracy is not important at currents less than the rated value. Second is what type of core material we used for protection for when we using the current transformer in the protection system. Here, sometimes cold rolled grained oriented silicone steel which has high permeability, high saturation level, reasonably small existing current, and low errors is used for the core of current transformers. Such core materials has reasonably good accuracy up to 10 to 15 times the rated current. But when we consider currents that are 5 times under the rated current, the core material made from nickel iron alloy. So we can say here that we can use two materials. One is cold rolled grain oriented silicone steel, and another one is that we can use is nickel iron alloy. Second thing important is accuracy. The accuracy of a current transformer is expressed in terms of the departure of its ratio from its true ratio. This is called the ratio error, and we can represent it as percent error is equal to NIS minus IP divided by IP, that is primary current, this is secondary current, and are the nominal ratio of the rated primary current to the rated secondary current. The ratio error of a current transformer depends on its existing current. When the primary current increases, the current transformer tries to produce the corresponding secondary current, and this needs a greater secondary EMF, core flux density, and existing current. A stage comes when any further increase in primary current is almost absorbed in an increased existing current, and thereby the secondary current hardly increases at all. At this stage, the current transformer becomes saturated. Thus, the ratio error depends on saturation. An accuracy about 2% to 3% of the current transformer is desirable for distance and differential relay, whereas for many other relays a higher percentage can be tolerated. Now, next thing is CT burden. The CT burden is defined as the load connected across the secondary of the CT, which is usually expressed in volt ampere. It can also be expressed sometimes in terms of impedance at the rated secondary current at a given power factor, and it is usually 0.7 lagging. Next is how the transient behavior of current transformer when it is used as in the protection system. For fast relaying, we can say within 1 or 2 cycles after fault anticipation, it is very essential to know the behavior of current transformer during the first few cycles of a fault when it carries a transient component in addition to the steady state component of the fault current. For fault current, the first term is the sinusoidal steady state current, which is called the symmetrical AC component, while the second term the unidirectional transient component, which starts at a maximum and decays exponentially and is called the DC DC offset current. The DC offset current causes the total fault current to be unsymmetrical till the transient decay. Now the current transformer that we use having the construction somehow like this. We have here ring, bar, and this is connected to the relay. Current transformers uh, based on their construction can be classified as bar primary cities and wound primary cities. In a bar primary, this is the bar primary city. In a bar primary city, the primary is a straight conductor which is part of the power system. Here, this is the straight conductor. In this type of CT, the primary does not necessarily form a part of CT. The secondary has a ring type iron core which the binding is wound uniformly over entire periphery. This type of construction has negligible leakage flux of both primary and secondary. Hence, it possesses a low reactance. As there is only one primary turn, the primary current should be high enough, around 400 ampere, to produce sufficient existing prime ampere currents to give a reasonable output. A bushing CT is a subclass of bar primary type CT. It is placed over an insulator, bushing enclosing a straight conductor. The bushing current transformer has comparatively more existing current and a large magnetic path onto the large diameter of the bushing. Another instrument that we use is potential transformer. Potential transformers are used to reduce the system voltage to a level low enough to suit the ratings of protective relays. The voltage rating of a protective relay is usually 110 volt. The percentage error is given by KVS. K is the nominal voltage ratio, VS secondary voltage, VP primary voltage, here like this. Again, yeah, I'm telling that K is the nominal voltage ratio. The accuracy of potential transformer used for meters and instruments is only important normal system voltages, where potential transformers that we are using for the protection requires more errors to be limited over a wide range of voltages under fault conditions. And this is about 5% to 150% of nominal voltage. The ratio error and phase angle error for potential transformers are required in its standard form. Again, the potential transformer having two type of construction, electromagnetic type and capacitor type. Here that we have shown is the capacitor type. In case of electromagnetic type, these are convenient to use up to 132 kV, while a capacitor type used for the higher voltages than the electromagnetic type PT. So because electromagnetic type PT becomes costly or expensive for higher voltages, so we always go through the capacitor type for higher voltages. Here we have line voltage, capacitor C1, C2, inductance L, V2. V2 may be only about 10% or less of the system voltage. This arrangement called a capacitor potential transformer, and it can be used for 132 kV and above. Here the reactor L is included to tune the capacitor potential transformer to reduce the ratio and phase angles errors with the variation of VA burden, frequency, etc. The reactor adjusted to such a value that at system frequency it resonates with the capacitors. Next type of instrument that we use generally in case of static relays are the summation transformer. Many times we need to derive a single phase quantity from three phase quantities. A summation transformer and sequence filters are used for this purpose. Here we have a figure. In this we have shown a summation transformer where the primary winding are connected to the output terminals of the line CTs. Here IR, IY, IB. Suppose here we have summation T here type of fault, summation CT turns RG n plus 2, then in this case output current is 40%, YG n plus 1, 16.5%, PGN 20%, RY then 90%, YB 90%, in case of BR 45%, in case of RYB3 this is 52%. The output of a summation CT can be given as this is in the form of current and it is given as n plus 2 IR n plus 1 IY plus I summation transformer in the form of K1 I1 plus K2 IT. Here K naught is 3 n plus 1, K1 is 2 plus A square and K2 is 2 plus A here. Now, as we have find the output current from the summation transformer, then it can be calculated for different types of faults. Here is a table by which we can directly calculate the various type of K1, K2, K0 for various type of faults for summation transformer. Here we can see for RG, YB, YBG fault, then value of K0, K1, K2 are shown here in this table. Under certain fault conditions, the output current of a summation transformer is negligible, small, or we can say it is around 0. This is the serious drawback of the summation transformer. To overcome this difficulty, a special kind of sequence filter which gives an output of the form 5I2 minus 1 is used. The safe frequency current segregated network. The output of the network or any other kind of summation device we have shown it here, and we can show its output as K naught I naught plus K1 I1 plus K2 I2. The constants K naught, K1 and K2 depends on the device which is used to derive a single phase quantity from the three phase quantities. The phase sequence filter giving an output in the form of I1 K I2. a, in the form of I1 minus k I2 gives the most uniform response for any type of fault. The value of k may be 5 or 6. Here again we have a table which shows the value of constants for general type phase sequence network, and we can see here we have type of faults, any summation device, and K1 K2 type device. So this is all about some basic instruments that we are using in protection system and their overview of their classification.